Now I want to take us even deeper into the identity of a man and why it's so critical, not just for men to understand this, but for women to understand it as well. I call this the gift of identity. The gift of identity is found in Genesis 2. Long before Eve was even in the picture, God gave Adam the responsibility to name all the animals on the planet. Now, I don't know if this took weeks, months, years, or decades, okay? Because he had to spend time and figure out what these animals were and give them and speak their name into them. You know, oftentimes I'll be preaching and I'll talk about, you know, the little squirrel who's in line just anxiously waiting to be given a name, and you know he's up there and Adam says lion and he walks off, and giraffe walks off, and you know aardvark and walks off, and then the little squirrel's just sitting there. He doesn't have a name, but he wants a name. He's been waiting for weeks or months, and he just wants a name. And he comes up to Adam, and Adam says squirrel. He's like, I'm squirrel, I'm squirrel, squirrel. Like they were aching for identity, and only the man could give it to him. Okay, that wasn't just a task to keep Adam busy. It was a divine assignment of speaking identity and life into what God created. It was a gift to be able to name probably more than 1 million creatures. Okay, Adam had quite an intellect to be able to come up with all of that. God wanted to get this into Adam's DNA. Okay, this giving identity to others, this idea of serving others, this idea that you're not here just for yourself, this idea of responsibility, and get it into his DNA way before he gave him a bigger assignment. Now in Genesis 3:20, we read, Adam named his wife Eve because she would become the mother of all living. Okay, now you gotta get the picture here. Every day, God would bring a tribe of animals who were very concerned about getting their identity. For weeks, months, or maybe years, these animals had no identity, didn't know who they were, what they were, how they were different. And God would bring a tribe up every day, and God would watch Adam give them names, and sometimes they probably laugh or chuckle or have fun, or, you know, I don't, how that went every day with their little coffee, but they hung out, God and Adam. And then one day, there was no herd. Just God the Father walking up. And I'm thinking that maybe Eve was maybe behind him. And as he knocked on Adam's door, Adam comes out, and he looks at the Father, and the Father steps aside and presents Eve. Okay? And this was not just a moment of Adam being cute or anything like that. This was a moment where Adam spoke into Eve who she was. She wasn't just Eve. She was going to be the mother of generations. Okay, he spoke life into her. Okay, he called her woman because she was taken out of him. The first thing Adam did was he gave her identity. He recognized her value. He saw God's vision and purpose for her, and he called it out. He gave her a name that would reflect her purpose, and he spoke life into her. Now that's powerful, okay? This is part of a man walking with God. This is part of God's given responsibility, is to give identity. Man doesn't just exist, okay? He exists to speak life, to speak identity, to speak purpose into those around him. This is a very unique thing that men can do. God gave us the power and responsibility to speak life and identity into our family members. Men have a special place of giving validation, giving praise, and giving identity. It's our gift. That's our DNA. And if you forfeit this gift with your wife, she will suffer. She will not feel all the things that God wants her to feel from you. The validation of her createdness, her beauty, her wisdom, her patience, her long suffering, her kindness. She needs to hear you say them. Okay? If you Forsake this responsibility as a man with your children. They will suffer unexplainably. Now, I'm going to talk to you as a psychologist. I've had some of the most beautiful women in the world. I'm talking about beauty contest winners who believed that they were unattractive or ugly or had low self-esteem. I have worked with thousands of men and women. And one thing I found very universal is if a man or woman had low self-esteem, I would ask them about their dad's voice. Did dad tell you you were smart, you were capable, you can do anything? Was he in your corner? Did you feel like he was speaking life into you? Or was he silent towards you? Or was he worse? Was he critical towards you? And I've never met a man or woman with low self-esteem who said their dad spoke life into them. It was always that dad wasn't there emotionally, or worse, he was critical, okay? And it's not the woman's responsibility to speak life into the family. Of course, it's great if she does and does encouragement and all that kind of stuff, but it's critical that men speak life into their wife and into their family. Give your wife praise, give her recognition, give her validation. She deserves it. She's worthy of it. And when you give it to her, she realizes she's worthy of it. Give your children praise, speak life into them, look at their gifts and highlight their gifts to them, okay? You have the power to breathe life into their environment so that they can thrive and grow in that nutrition, okay? You want them to rule and reign in life, you need to give them the life as a man. You need to speak life into them. Because here's the truth. If you don't speak life into them, okay, and this is a really good reason, women, if you're watching, to get this product for your men, because I really go in great detail here. If you don't speak life into them, okay, it's going to be hard for them to believe some of the things that God wants to say to them. But it'll be easy for them to be taught by the enemy. And you do not want that to happen, okay? Culture, social influences, social media, false beliefs can start coming into their lives. And without the balance of you telling them who they are, they could actually start to believe something that's not true. So it's very important that men get into this. Proverbs 18:21 says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Men, your words can produce life for those you love, so use them in a way that brings life to them.
For more content and resources to help in your healing journey with Christ, make sure to follow Dr. Doug Weiss on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to share full episodes of this show with friends and family, subscribe to Healing Time Ministries on YouTube, and feel free to leave us a comment on any of Dr. Doug's social media platforms. Our team would love to hear your feedback and learn how Healing Time is impacting your life, your church, and your ministry.